So it's going to be a 4-day event, and we'll be focusing on how you're going to be using your CMMS, whether you have one at the moment or are thinking about getting one. So first day that we're going to be looking at your actual CMMS and whether it can become an operating system for you. On day 2, we'll be looking at your work environment and how does the CMMS integrate with your work environment, and what small changes will you maybe have to make within your work environment to allow it to interact better with your CMMS. Then on day 3, we're going to look at some real live examples that I've used over the last 20 years and show you how you can make some very, very significant savings by really utilizing your CMMS. And then finally on day 4, we are going to look at how you're interacting with your vendor and how your vendor interacts with you. Are they giving you the support that you need to really utilize your CMMS? So that's going to be our event over the 4 days. There'll be roughly about an hour, hopefully keep it a bit less because I know everybody's busy each day, and that will be the goal on it. At the end of each day, we'll open it up if you want to put some questions up into the chat, and I'll do my best then to answer any questions at the end of that you have at the end of each session. So we'll just give it another minute or so now, and then we'll kick off on to today's session. So also just let you know that this is being recorded and that they'll be putting up on a page, what you call it, where you'll be able to see the replays afterwards as well. So just in case you have to go away early, then you can always log back in and you'll be able to see the replays, which will be up actually on our company website. So we'll put up the link there then towards the end of the session with it. Right, so let's kick off on today's session. So everybody's ready to go, and I'm just going to go and share my screen there now. Right, hopefully everybody can see that today. So today's session really is about, has your CMMS the potential to be your operating system, and how to ask the right questions. And this is asking the right questions on your existing CMS if you have one, or if you're actually thinking about going ahead and changing or buying one for the first time sometime now in the near future. So what is an operating system? I mean, a lot of people have asked me that what this event really is about. We all have different software that we're using in our organizations, and some who really are our go-to software, such as your email in the morning. I mean, like you, like me, and like most people, that's normally the first application that we're going to open in the morning. Let's have a look at our email, see who's contacting us with it. Otherwise, you'll have specialized software like your payroll. Again, whether you're doing weekly or so like that, it's something that you're going to go automatically and use. You're not going to think about doing any other means of calculating your organization's payroll. So it has to, an operating system really has to be something that you're going to use on a daily basis, and something that is going to be extremely useful for you to use, and that it's going to give you what you call a serious benefit by using it. So again, is it good enough to be your operating system? As I say, nearly every organization's got Microsoft Office. You want to write a document, a spreadsheet, you don't even think twice about going to it. Same as I said before with your payroll, you're not going to try and do your payroll with a pen and a calculator. But for some reason, and what I've seen over the last 20 years, for many organizations, they just don't want to use their CMMS unless they really have to. It's not a go-to application. It's definitely not their operating system. It's nearly like a hindrance that they have to use it to perform certain tasks, whereas it should be something that you just want to really go to and to use. And there are some kind of key reasons why this is so. First one, again, it's not been tried and tested. I put up a poll there recently on LinkedIn, and I just asked, if you're looking at a CMMS, how many different times are you going to download applications from different vendors and actually install them, try them out, and see whether they will actually work within your organization? And surprisingly, it came back that the vast majority of people who responded to the poll said they never did. And it was often has been that the person who is deciding to use and to purchase the CMMS at the end of the day won't be the person that's actually going to use it. So that means the CMMS has been purchased without being tried and tested. If you're going to buy a car, you're most likely going to give it a test drive and look at various different models and that before you buy a car. But for some reason, people just go, that's it, that's the one I want, I'm buying it, without any really consideration or evaluation on it. The other one, next one really, is where a vendor has claimed that it can do all these different things and no problem at all, you'll be able to do this from A to Z on it, and then you find out that you can't. And that immediately becomes like a mental block. I'm not going to use this. And it starts being very minimally used. Next one, too difficult. Ideally, a CMMS should require minimal training. I can know of one CMMS out there, and the instruction manual is 9,600 pages. I couldn't get past page 5 or 6 on it. It was just so complex, even the reading of it. So again, if it's going to be too difficult, it's just human nature. You're not going to use it. Another big one is resistance to change, especially now if you're bringing the CMMS into your organization for the very first time. People can be used to doing things, and especially if your organization is there for a number of years, people are used to doing things and they don't really like change. So it's got to be introduced as something that is better. It's not going to be difficult for them to use, and it's going to benefit the person. And we'll be covering a lot about this now in tomorrow's session. But when a CMMS is just bought into an organization and it's like, here it is, we're using this, it starts Monday, you're using it whether you like it or not, there will be huge resistance to actually using it. Again, no CMMS is perfect. Even with my own, I'm not going to claim that it works absolutely wonderfully and all that. There's always going to be some small little bugs and so like that. But if you've got a system and every single day you've got problems with it and it's not doing what it should be, it's not performing, it's crashing and so like that, then you really are going to have serious problems with people actually using it. And final kind of main reason why people aren't using a CMMS is there hasn't been a usage plan put into it. Is that it comes into the facilities and they start using it, but anybody else then is it's there, it should be used, or they're not introduced to it, or people aren't changing the way that they're doing things. So you could have a CMMS that can very easily accept help desk requests, but people are still sending them in by text, by email, picking up the phone. So there never was a plan put into place to actually introduce the CMMS. So again, you're going to have a lot of resistance to using it, and it's a lot harder to bring in these changes after the CMMS has been running up for a while rather than doing it at the beginning. There's three main elements you've got to consider when evaluating a CMMS, and most people just look at the financial side of it. So it goes out, you're putting out a tender or request for quotation for your CMMS, and it's a case of